Hello everybody and welcome back to Project Daily Drive. And today we're going to be bringing Gene a bit more into the modern day by fitting a cigarette lighter. Modern technology, isn't it wonderful? So why am I fitting one of these bad boys? Well, it's not that I'm well known for smoking, if that's what you're worried about. At least not cigarettes, anyway. The reason that I'm needing one of these is simply because of the fact I need to be able to charge electronics on the go. I use this thing every day and I've adapted. I have a boombox as a radio, and for the most part I actually run most of my electronics off of USB battery banks. I have a few of these. But these need charging occasionally, and the problem is that I'm going on holiday tomorrow, as it would happen, and I'm not going to be able to have a charging point. Now that becomes a problem if I need to use my phone as the sat-nav, I need to use my dash cam, I need to be able to charge my radio, or any of the other electronics that I actually use on the regular. So, fitting one of these, that's what's needing to be done. So, what do I need to do? This is the actual socket itself. It's quite small, and because this car is my own and so basic, I could fit this absolutely anywhere. I could fit it there, 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 or even up there if I really wanted to party. But no, I don't want this to be visible, so that puts out a lot of those spaces. What I'm going to do instead is stick the thing in that mess of a glove box. I have to clean it first though because it's filthy. Should have probably done that before filming. Allow me to use this absolutely awful whiteboard drawing to explain what I'm going to do. In most modern cars, the socket is wired straight to the ignition, which means that you have to have the ignition on for the socket to work. Not in every car, just in most cars. This means that you have to have the keys in and the ignition turned on in order to get electricity to your socket. I don't want to do this. In a Morris Minor, that's a really good way to get a blown up solenoid or coil. So instead, what I'm going to do is bypass the ignition entirely and just fit it straight to the battery. Although I have to be careful because if I stuff this up anyway, that's a very good way to get electrocuted. Also, ignore how bad the drawing is and how electrically incorrect it is. It is currently 3 o'clock in the morning. So now you understand that I'm having this permanently live, I now need to do the actual wiring. So I've got my wires, and if these colours look familiar to you, that's because these are just bog standard household wires that I stole from a lawnmower, because I'm a student and I will never say no to free wiring. Anyway, what I'm going to do before I actually start poking holes in stuff to fit the actual cigarette lighter is I'm going to wire it externally. This is mainly so that I know the wiring setup, I can fiddle with it and make sure that everything works before I actually start feeding the cables through, because there's nothing worse than feeding all the cables through only to find out that something doesn't work. I have no idea what I'm doing, do I? But anyway, gonna see if I can set up this wiring, and then we can test it out. So this is the setup that I've got so far, and yes, please excuse the fact that this engine is a disgrace to the name of Great British Motoring. So, the setup. Now this is very grimy, don't mind me going into camera shot because I'm unprofessional. What I have here, this is the battery, obviously. This is connected through an inline fuse to the live section of the cigarette lighter. The earth is coming through here and is here. Yes, this setup is gross. And what I have here is just a USB fan, which I used to test because I didn't want to use my phone and fry it. So simply enough, as long as I connect this to the live, there we go. This is horrible. I've switched on the fan, so if I touch this to the earth, we should get power. And would you look at that? 12 volt power coming through. So I know that the wiring works. And I got it wrong a few times. I'm so overexposed as well. Now, what I need to do is figure out how the bloody hell I'm going to get this wiring through the bulkhead. I'm going to have to think about this one, aren't I? To give a better view, this is the wiring setup, and yes, it looks gross. If you're wondering why there's 3 wires, if you think back to the whiteboard, that's the light. Some of them have light, some of them don't. I don't want a light because it's going to be permanently live and that'll just drain my battery if I park up. So what I have here, I actually did think that was live, which is why I was quite confused for a while. Anyway, gross setup aside, the live is this, and this runs through an inline fuse. I need to put a 10 amp fuse in here because that's what is really recommended to be safe. 5 amp or 10 amp, I need to check which one's safest for phones and stuff like that. And then the earth wire, and the earth wire I've already connected to the really long stolen lawnmower wire. I now need to feed this through the bulkhead. Now the earth wire I am just going to connect to a bolt on something on the engine bay just to earth it, or maybe just connect it to the earth battery. And for the live, I'm going to take it from the green live feeds from the fuse box. This isn't going to be the final setup, it's just I don't have time to perfect it, so it's going to look really grim and horrible. I know this, I can see the comments. So I'm going to go back and fix this, but I'm actually going away tomorrow, so I don't have the time. And I'm also left all my equipment at my flat because I'm an idiot, so that's the other problem. Anyway, time to start feeding the wires through. I'll show you what I'm going to do there. So, like I said before, I want to fit it in here. This is where it's going to go, in this corner. Nice and out of the way, and I can shut this thing and nobody's going to be able to see it. So I need to remove this, obviously. I've got a hole up here, which I'm going to run the wires through for now, but this is going to be disgusting. To remove it, there's usually set screws around here, but I only have 2 here in the bottom. So, here we go. This is going to be so dusty. Oh dear. Haha! And there we go. Got that removed. In fact, let's just... Oh no, it's all blown in here! Okay. So... Oh, that's grim. I now need to... Oh, you can see the heater. Back on topic, I need to run a wire into this bulkhead here from the engine bay. I still don't know where I'm going to do it. Have the wires in here that I can then connect into the engine bay. I think what I might do is take it up through this little hole here and then run it through the side. We shall see. I still need to figure that out. So shaky camera work again. That's the hole I'm going to use. There's a small hole in the bulkhead and I'm going to feed both of the wires through there, up through that slot and into here. Nice and easy. I didn't want to drill any holes, so I'm quite glad that I managed to poke around behind the soundproofing and find one. So yeah. I'm going to go feed all that through because that's going to be tedious to watch, and I'll meet you on the other side. And yes, for those who are wondering, it comes out right here. That's where the hole is. There's also another one here, but that's where the hole is. And this is where I'm feeding my wires through. I'll tidy them up somewhat. So I want the live wire, which is going to be this one, to run over there towards the green connections, which is permanently live. And the earth, I'm literally just going to connect right here to where the actual earth is. Nice and easy. And then I'll come along later and fix it better. Sorry for the handheld camera, but here's what I've got. So I've got the earth and the live, both fed through the bulkhead. They're both in here. In the car, in Jean herself, I have partially put in the glove box. As you can see, the wires are fed through this pre-existing hole. They go underneath. They go underneath there. Go on, change. There you go. I haven't drilled any holes. I haven't cut any metal. I haven't modified the car in any way, and I've got a cigarette lighter. I'm very proud of myself. Obviously this looks horrible, but if it works, I'm going to be happy and I'll fix it later down the line. Now I'm going to neaten this all up on this end, and I'm going to connect the wires and we can start to test it out and make sure it all works. Huzzah! Behold! It's a setup. So I'm just doing some fine tinkering now, but here is the setup as you can see. Through the bulkhead, we have the live wire and the earth wire. Earth is connected to the earth strap, the live is just connected to the live. I'm going to properly set this up in a moment. On the inside, here on the inside, you can see the wires that are down there, the earth and the live, just dangling out. I'll explain in a second. And in the glove box, behold, that is the setup. It looks horrible, I'm aware, I'm going to do some tinkering, but it now all works. In fact, this USB fan is actually plugged in and it works. Air conditioning. But no, it does all work, and all I have to do is just do some fine fettling, make sure that everything on this basically works properly. It's not going to come loose in the engine bay, stuff like that, and tie up all the cables nice and neat. Now I'm just sorting this out. I've got these wires here, which I'm just going to tape or tack just underneath here, or just tuck them, frankly, out of the way. The reason I've left the wires long, I haven't trimmed them, is simply because I'm going to come back and sort this out properly. When I come back and sort this properly, I'm going to cut these to the correct length, give them proper mounting points that aren't just tacked into the battery. And this itself in here, I'm going to mount this properly in the corner like that. These wires are going to go away in that corner, all neat and tidy, and I'm going to do it. I would do it now, but I've got too much stuff to prepare for before I set off tomorrow, and it will get a bit fiddly, because I want to make some custom holders and stuff like that to make sure that this looks nice. I want this in a little box so that all the wiring is hidden and looks neat, and I don't have time for that at the moment, but it works, so I am happy. I just need to sort the fuse situation out, and just testing at this point, really, and then I will show you the final setup properly. And that is that. All the wiring is safely tucked away. It's all crimped up. All of the lines are secure. Visible wiring has been hidden. That's pretty much it. It's done. It works. I've tested it. All of the things that I need to work properly. When I come back and redo it, I'm going to do it a little bit differently, but this is just a setup that is going to allow me to charge up my stuff when I'm in the middle of a field, in the middle of the Peak District, which is where I'm going. I'm going to Tyre Festival. But that is pretty much it. And, haha, I did something. I've modified the car to be a bit more modern. I am shocked at myself. But that is everything for this episode. I'm not sure what I'm doing next because I haven't planned it yet. Right. Thank you very much for it. Thank you very much for watching. See you all next time. Bye for now.